traded some people. That's what I did. No, I didn't trade anybody. Kenny was just a bitch and got drunk because, again, we've talked about it last time. He can't hold his liquor. What?
Can't see Matt.
Oh, right. Shit. I forgot we added. I got it. See, we're going to have to back this bad boy up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I'm doing this on the fly, see? We got him? Not yet. We're getting there.
A little bit.
Boom.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect.
Nice. Good job.
Working on it. Nah, my little ass leg got stuck in stuff. See, I'm all fucked up here. See? This is Ken's fault. So he decided to not hold his liquor. Anyway, hello and welcome to the Freemasons Podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry.
Brother Alex DeFranzo.
Brother Matt.
Yeah, this little thing ain't gonna work. It's gonna be banging and clanging the entire freaking time. So
Yeah.
And today, episode 264, a midget, a hippie, and a biker walking to a bar. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to be talking about just generalized stuff. First thing is pretty funny. We walked up here and Alex was like, can we talk about flat earthers? Yeah, we can do that. Jared M. Made it to a live fraternal greetings. Glenn Burney, 213 in Maryland. Good morning, brothers. Finished my term as master of Jackson Lodge. Hey, congratulations. First day as a past master feels great. Usually does. Been a hot minute. Good to see you again, Josh McCrae. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over some... Oh, Ken texting me. Let's see here. Yeah, Ken texted me. No, he wants to talk to me. Doesn't want to come up on the podcast. He's being a little... Never mind. All right, so Apple reviews. Let's see here. Where the hell are we at here? Awesome podcast. 5-star review from John Smith Squared. Definitely love listening to the brothers while I'm at work. Keep up the good work. Phenomenal podcast. MOA USA. 5-star review. Took me a whole year to finish this podcast. Now I'm wondering what I'm doing with my life. I need a hobby or something. So I became a Mason and got my MM degree February 2024. This podcast has helped me more than most. I can relate to all four of you, like Pale Ken, Zen Joe, Illiterate George, and love the mischief like the puppet. Cheers, brothers. Lance McGee, Michigan Everett Lodge 320. AI wrote this for me. P.S.
Nice.
Nice. Love this show. Ryan Fletch, 5-star review. As a fellow craft going into my 3rd degree, the show is very informative, not only about the craft itself, but also the history. Keep it up, brothers. Yeah, we try from time to time, and then there's other times we're just, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, but, you get a couple of those.
You know, which is fine, though, because I try to generally again, the whole purpose of this podcast was to just show people that we're not freaking, trying to take over the world, and we're just normal guys. Normal guys that just like to drink and hang out. And
I don't know a single Mason that could probably take over the world.
No. Maybe Messner. He's like
the
brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Oh my god.
Evil and maniacal. That was fucked up. But anyway, so what you been up to? What'd you guys have last night going on?
So last night, Matt brought his projector, and we got the pay-per-view for the UFC fight.
Nice.
Yeah, so from 6:30 until...
we had left here, I think, at like 1 a.m., a little after.
6:30 to 1 o'clock. Came, hung out, ate food, watched the fights. And yeah, it was a good time.
Cool. So, we got Brother Matt up here with us. This is the first time we've ever met, right?
Yes, it is.
Never met before. Again, I'm a past master and a past district deputy, and it fucking has been. And I'm not around no more. So, and actually, my job makes it difficult to come to lodge. But I'll be probably seeing you a lot more, being that I'm part of this lodge now. Mm-hmm. We'll leave that right there. But let's hear about you. I want to hear about your Masonic career. What got you involved in Masonry? Tell me about your life.
Well, honestly, I've been a Mason now since my days of being in the military. I was in the Army for 5 years, and when I was in the Army, I kind of noticed the emblem and stuff because I grew up right down the street from Harmony, one of the 3 family houses down the road.
Nice.
So I always saw this lodge and the emblem growing up. So when I was in the military, I saw the emblem, and I was like, I know that, and started looking into it and everything else. And then next minute I knew, I was knocking on the door, walking up to I joined Prince Hall Masonry through a military chapter. It was Joseph L. Wilson, Lodge number 64, out of the most worshipful Grand Lodge out of Washington State. And that's where I started my Masonic career.
Shout out to our PHAs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to all my brothers with them. Miss you guys. Hope everybody, somebody sees this, and I'm out there. What's up?
Military guy? Did you fight in diarrhea stand or anything like
I
that?
was in Iraq.
Iraq?
Yep, that was fun.
Diarrhea stand.
So that was cool. Shout out to those dudes, the 172nd Infantry Brigade. Out of we used to be out of Schweinfurt, but they're no longer there anymore. So
Why not?
they folded they did whatever. I don't know.
Handed in their charter.
We were a basic combat team out of Germany. They had I think the headquarters was down in Grafenwehr. So I don't know. They disbanded everything once they started pulling all the Iraq and
Right.
all that stuff. But yeah, and then I was I belonged to them for a little bit, the rest of my military career. And then when I got out of the military in 2012, I came to Harmony, knocked on the door, and then I met Marty and Shane for my first 2 contacts.
Nice.
Marty, missed that man.
Yep.
Good
And
dude.
Marty is the reason why I'm a Harmony member today and still in.
Shane's a good guy. I love Shane.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's usually the one that's like, where I'm like, hey, Shane. I send him a text. I'm like, hey, Shane. I want to tell this guy to go fuck himself. Well, how do I do it? He's like, don't do that.
yeah.
He's
like,
usually the voice of reason. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you can't do that, George. Like, he's like, they're entitled to their opinions. I'm like, yeah, all right. All right. So let's talk about it. You came to the door. Did you literally legit knock on the door on meeting night?
No,
It's usually a scary thing for Masons on the inside. You hear a knock, everybody's like, what the
No,
Yeah, right.
I did a little research, Googled, Connecticut Grand Lodge, figured out where I was, who to get in contact with, figured out who the secretary was, and then ended up reaching out to Marty, and then we set up a meeting, and we met here, and it was him and Shane, and we started talking, and then went through the entire
Nice.
admitting process, and the investigation and all that stuff, and then Harmony Brothers voted on me. I came, and that was back in 2012, 2013, and then I've been back and forth between the lodge ever since. I lived in Texas for a couple years, backpacked all of Australia and stuff. So
Oh, shit.
I was in and out.
Why would you backpack Australia? There's nothing there but desert and dingoes.
And everything wants to kill you.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Shout out to anybody from Australia right now, dude. That is the best place.
Damn.
The place is wild. It's a good time.
Yeah, everything wants to kill you.
Yeah.
Fucking camel spiders the size of my hand.
Oof. Eating kangaroo steaks every day.
Kangaroo's good stuff.
I don't know if you know this, a running joke when we first started the podcast, there was the whole thing like of me fighting a kangaroo until I realized how big a kangaroo was. And I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, dude.
I meant wallaby.
Koala bear.
Yeah. So anyway, so petition goes through, you're good to go. EA night comes, you show up, you're in a suit and tie, right? That's typically our thing. And then the dude says to you, all right, man, come in this room, get naked. What's going through your head?
Well,
I asked everybody this question. Like,
that I didn't have. Were you referring to my Prince Hall days? Because that's when.
yeah. I'm talking about when you first got initiated into Freemasonry.
Yeah, dude, I was a little nervous. I was like, what's going on? What are we doing here? And he's like, get naked, put this blindfold on. I was like, I guess we're gonna get weird.
and for people listening who don't know, you don't get naked. We're playing off of that. You still wear, your undergarments. You have to put on different things. But initially, they tell you like, I strip down to your boxers. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Now, mind you, when I took my EA, my entire lodge was all old people. So now I'm in a room as a 26, 25-year-old guy with 80-year-olds to like take your clothes off. I'm like, get fucked. I'm not doing that. No.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you go through the degree. What did you think of the first degree?
it was life-changing in the aspect of
information through a fire hose is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
With certain things that happened and everything, and just how it all. I don't want to give too much away, but how it all plays out, and then you get to that certain point, and it's bestowed upon you, and you're like, oh, it was surreal, seeing all that for the first time, and then being shown elsewhere around, and then getting more explained, and that just information through a fire hose. You're like, oh, this is going to be an adventure. This is some stuff.
And then once you take your fellow craft, EA starts to make a little bit more sense.
Right.
It also makes even more sense, like we said, like when you actually watch it from the sidelines rather than going through it. Because when you're going through it, you don't see half of it. Number one. Adam Brooks, he says, good morning, brothers. And he also says, Brad Zell, good morning, brothers, from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Nice. Adam Brooks also said, sick ETID shirt, bro. What the fuck is...
Every time I die. ETID. It's a band.
Oh, I thought they were making fun of Mr. Sequence over here.
No.
They're hexagons, bro.
You, with the esoteric shit. It's always hexagons or polygons or octagons or...
I love all the gons.
fucking Megatrons. You're fucking all over the place.
You gotta be.
Fucking brain. I don't understand how it works, man. I'm usually just...
Purely runs on symbols.
anger and pay attention. Your fucking mind is insane. I guess that's why you're a good tattoo artist. Speaking of tattoos, god damn, you're covered in tattoos.
I got a couple, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no shit. See, I'd love to do all that. The only problem is this fucker charges way too much, so...
Yeah,
no, that's not true. He doesn't charge that much at all.
So.
We were in my kitchen literally during COVID getting tattooed. Up in lodge
Good
getting
times.
tattooed.
Good times, man.
Yeah, Alex actually hasn't even tattooed me yet. I'm still waiting to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's turned into like Mason Tattoo Mondays.
Really? That's when you schedule them, or that's when everybody comes in for them, and it's just kind of like, what the fuck?
That's usually when I'll schedule them because I'm off on Monday. So it's
right.
Like if one of my friends wants to get tattooed, I'll be like, oh, I'm off Monday. Come then,
Yeah. Here's the problem now. So I got my daughter. She's 17, so he tattooed her, just something small. But now she's starting to get the itch now too.
Yeah.
Because I just texted him the other day. I'm like, she wants another fucking tattoo. So yeah, we'll set that up at some point. But all right, back to you.
Yeah.
So just excuse me for a minute. The audio might go crazy. I got to move this wire. I have a slight. I have a slight form of what is it called?
Autism.
Did you say autism, you fucker? That was nicely done. Nicely done.
It's autism.
I'd go more with like ADHD. Like certain shit drives me nuts. Like wires hanging in my face or stuff not organized. Stuff drives me bananas. So anyway, back to you though, Matt. So you take your EA degree. You're like, holy shit, that was a lot of stuff. We talked about the fellow craft. It's kind of like, oh, okay, I understand. It was the fellow craft's a little bit, would you say, slower paced, more informational rather than shock and awe, if you will.
Like more melodic.
Yeah,
less.
I don't know what that means. I'm a fucking jarhead, dude. Like I don't know what this means.
It's like more synchronized and less chaotic than like.
Informational is the way I would have went with, but you and Ken with the big fucking words. Right?
Beep boop beep.
Guys are like two thesauruses. It drives me nuts. But now comes the night.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to earn your bones. All right, so so I just want to talk about this while we're talking about ritual, because Alex was like, oh, I don't know if we could talk about ritual. I know every lodge is different, every mason's different. I've always had the mentality that the obligation is the secret part. That's
okay.
Whereas me, the ritual, I don't like giving it away just because I don't want to ruin somebody else's experience. But we can talk about, certain aspects of masonry.
They're published too, right?
They're public. Well, the History Channel's got a whole fucking documentary series about it, bastards.
Yeah, I mean, it's much different when you go through it. Even if you read it all or heard anything about it.
Especially the Order of the Temple. Yeah. That one is by far.
I know, I'm excited for that. I just got my Royal Arch like
Yeah.
a week or two ago.
When you take your Templar degree, your Order of the Temple, I need to be there.
Okay.
I need to be there because that degree is.
Nice.
But anyway, back to you, Master Mason degree. Let's talk about the expectation of when you went in.
The expectation when I went in was
The beginning of the degree, like you're literally you're half bollocky bare ass yet again.
Yep.
You're walking in, you're like, oh, here we go again, same shit.
Right. So you kind of know. All right. So you're anticipating that, but now you don't know where else now you're being led to. You know what I mean? So you're like, all right, I know essentially what's going to happen, but I don't know what exactly is going to happen.
Right.
So like that's it. That was basically my mind in the forefront. I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable. I know where I'm at. I trust my brothers. I'm good.
Yeah.
But where am I going and what's going to happen?
Right. Well, halfway through, you take the break. Right.
Right.
You get dressed. You're like, all right, here we go. And then something happens when you come back in.
Yeah. And then
Shit your pants moment. Glad you put your shitting pants back on.
I'm gonna say yes because I came also from a lodge where.
Now this is a PHA.
We're PHA and we're
a little
military.
bit there. So we've talked about the differences between PHA and your I don't want to say regular lodge because they're regular lodge too, but your quintessential main structured lodge.
What you would find in normally
just floating around. PHA, those guys don't play.
No.
I've seen 1 degree and I'm like, God damn, like that was fucking wild to watch them. They are dead on.
They hit their angles.
No bullshit.
And especially being military, everything was dress right dress.
Oh yeah.
It was a DNC moment for.
They had the clickers on.
No, but it was. They used the staff well.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So
the one I seen, the dude had the freaking clickers on the feet, and I'm like, holy shit, it's Paris Island all over again. Because that was the most fearful sound, was when you heard it. That was the sound of a drill instructor coming down the fucking hallway, making a beeline right for your ass.
Shout out to my brother Eubanks. He his footwork was phenomenal. He was the senior deacon that put me through, and shout out to him if he's watching, if he ever sees this.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So it was intense because you're in that type of environment, and then things were a little bit more on my side of the realm of boisterous. They use their big boy voice.
Big boy voices. Yep. Yep.
So that was the most intimidating part because you're coming in, but you got some dude that you in the beginning and going through the EA, you had no idea who these people were. So it's scarier, and then once you meet him, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But you still know this dude now, and you know.
Now they're not being so nice.
Right. And then he's.
They're like, oh shit.
Okay.
Well, because it's like you go through the first degree, and it's so overloaded and overstimulating with information, and then the dust settles during your FC. Mm-hmm. So then by your third degree, you're like, okay, like what do what could I even possibly expect?
Yeah.
And then you get asked how the hour goes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Right. And then you get asked again. And you're looking around like, somebody help me? And there's nobody there to help you. And then the third time, it's got a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Pep to it, if you will.
Oh yeah, it's got a little pepper in it.
Yeah. And then they're like, go get this fucker. So you go through the rest of that. We're going to leave it at that. You'll find out when you go through it. And what do you got going on? You're like, holy shit.
Pretty much.
That's what I have.
Just holy shit, dude. Just a wild experience. And then, it's all said and done. The dust settles. Everything's done it over. And then it was just, I don't know, the most, I'll take it. I say it's the most humbling experience I've ever felt in my life. I was like, holy shit.
I tell the story about when I went through my MM, and particularly that part. You're wearing a blindfold. You don't know what's going on. But so the first time it happened, my nervous reaction of not knowing what's going on was I laughed.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the worst fucking thing I could have possibly done, because the second time, all I said... So the Mason who did the part of number Trace, he wore a tuxedo with sneakers. And that's all I ever remember was through the bottom of the blindfold seeing the sneakers coming at me. And let me tell you, I went off the floor. Boom! I put me in the air. And I'm like, holy shit. The laughter stopped at that point.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen to me?
Yeah.
So that was a wild experience. But then afterwards, I found that after it's all done, you know, the deed is done, all that stuff happens. They pull the blindfold off, and it's like now I have this weird where I'm trying to pay attention to the aftermath of it,
Right.
but I'm still jacked up. Like I
Yeah,
couldn't. It took me a while to calm down, so I actually don't remember much of what happened after that because I was still kind of like in my head, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it took me a couple watching the people who went after me. Because I was done short form for the first. I don't know how you were done. Because of the short form, long form, you know the differences between the two and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it was long form.
I was long form. You got the long form. Yeah. So I was short form. So now I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm trying to process what the fuck just happened. But that was a wild experience. So, you're now a full-fledged member of the lodge. You learn your ritual. You do all your stuff. Do you ever take an officer position?
Yeah, in Prince Hall and especially military, you gotta advance through the chairs relatively fast because with people just moving, you know, PCS in and doing all that kind of stuff and going to the field, so you kind of need people sitting in chairs. So you're,
Right.
I mean, I was
like
raised as a master mason, and then I believe maybe a month later I was sitting as a senior deacon, learning all of it, memorizing it, and then
That's baptism by fire.
a couple
right there.
months later, I sat as the junior warden, and then I was the junior warden up until I left, until I ETS'd out.
So you advanced fast, but not for the same reason I advanced fast. I advanced fast because there was 5 members of my lodge, and all of them were over the age of 80. So they were looking for bodies to fill. You advanced fast because there was just a constant rotation of guys coming in and out.
That was it,
Right.
and it
All
was
right.
and that's to keep us afloat,
Cohesion,
keep everything
yeah,
going. You
yeah,
just
yeah.
gotta just go and sit down, and I mean it was a lot. It was definitely a lot because being in the military, so you got military life, and then you have to study your ritual, learn it, and everything else. So it was a lot, but it was
Now, I was in the military as well. I was in the Marine Corps. I also found there's a lot of downtime. Like when I was in the Marine Corps, there's a lot of downtime.
Oh, right,
There's
absolutely.
90% of the military career is sitting on your fucking ass. Again, I never went overseas. However, did you find that you had enough time to study ritual and get all that stuff with
definitely.
the downtime?
And then it also worked out too because like there was a pretty big brother presence between in my unit, and it was cool how the Prince Hall was because where I was at, I was stationed out in K-Town in Kaiserslautern, Germany, and in that area there was we had Washington State, who I was a part of. I believe it was Texas State, and I want to say North Carolina State in the Grand Lodges of Prince Hall. So
Nice.
you had these different factions, and so we would have parties together, and like there'd be joint. So, and then you didn't realize how many brothers there actually were.
Right.
So on your downtime, you're actually hanging out, and a dude that you didn't even realize that was a brother with North Carolina that you met at an all-white party.
Right.
So then now next day you're in his barracks room studying your ritual together, and it was cool. So
That's
you had
awesome.
a lot of and it had a lot of interaction with different districts and different way that people did things, and it was pretty cool to see.
I want to keep touching on that because we have a lot of people who are military who listen to this. We actually, it's a real slow feed today. Typically, we got like 20, 30 freaking people at least, watching everything. It's just, whatever. It's a nice day out. It's not fucking pouring like they said it was going to. I want to be a weatherman. That's what I want to do. I want to change my job because I want to get paid 6 figures to be fucking wrong all the time. Because they called for thunder and lightning and the gates of hell to open up last night, and then poof, nothing.
I know.
Didn't even rain.
have a feeling
Isaac Lease, good afternoon, brothers from England. Yeah, we got a lot of English boys in here too. Anyway, I want to touch on the military things. We get a lot of people who are in the military. They're like, "Oh, I'm looking for something to do." We had our whole Move campaign, which is where Masons were reaching out to military. I can't remember what Ken's acronym. It was Move. Can't remember the acronym. This was years ago. But we were looking for primarily military guys to join them because there's nothing to do after you get out of the military.
Yeah.
That, at least I found, that camaraderie that you had in the military, it kind of goes away.
100%.
You lose it. You don't talk to people. I mean, a lot of the guys you were in the military with, they live in, Indiana, or they're out in Missouri, or, they're all over the place. So when you come back home finally, there's really nothing. And I'm assuming why you eventually made your way here at Harmony,
Right.
is because you're looking for that again. You're constantly looking for that. So when you are in the military, right? So I just want to say, you ever seen the show Generation Kill?
Yes, I seen
That is the most accurate depiction of military life, hands fucking down. Like the humor, the way they treat one another, the way they talk to one another. It is, I mean, the most accurate I've seen. It's freaking hilarious on top of that too. Nice. But there's a lot of ball busting in the military, right?
Yep.
So I got two questions for that. Did other military members in the Army, I know the Marine Corps was just constant ball busting. You got your balls busted for everything. It didn't matter what it was. I was called fucking Goldberg, damn Yankee, because I'm from the North. Most of them are, would you agree? I don't know how the Army is, but 90% of everybody from the South. South of the Mason-Dixon line. Ken's going to break my balls about that, too.
Yeah.
One time I call it Mason-Dixie line. Mason-Dixon line. But 90% of them from the South, right? So they called me the damn Yankee. They said with my head shaved, I look like Goldberg, probably because I got a big-ass nose and a misshaped head. You know what I mean? I'm nowhere near Bill Goldberg because he's a monster. But that was my nicknames. But being in the military, being in Mason Lodge, they bust your balls about being a Mason, or was it kind of like it was like them boys? You know what I mean? Oh, those are the Mason boys. You know what I mean? In other words, how did other military members view you as being a Mason, or they didn't?
I don't honestly. I don't really.
They didn't really say anything.
I don't really. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I really never even paid attention.
I'm only asking.
I didn't really.
I'm only asking because one of the things when I was in the military, when I was in the Marine Corps, was they were called Bible bitches.
Okay.
These are the guys that would go to church, and you were made fun of in a sense that you were like overly religious.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
you're
just
gonna get chopped up.
You're gonna get chopped up, right? So you're like
I feel like it was you got a lot of goofy looks and shit because like if we came out and we're wearing our tuxedos and you're going we're going to head to lodge and we got 3 dudes walking out of the barracks in a tuxedo, and I remember like, what the fuck is going on?
right.
You know what I mean? So it's like that type of shit you got.
Right,
like,
right.
Oh yeah, we're Masons, we're brothers over. Our where our lodge was at was over on Pulaski Barracks. So we're like, hey, we're going over Pulaski, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
we never really.
I mean, out in normal civilian life, we get called baby killers and freaking
I never experienced that.
We get called everything in the freaking book. So I didn't know if it was like played upon when you were in the military. You get called the same thing. It was like, or looked at funny, One
of the coolest parts, though, I would say, is that I experienced personally was just the fact of being a lower enlisted person, and then you stumble upon a brother who may be higher ranking, and it kind of like alleviates that little bit of stress with the rank because you know, like.
Do you have any officers that were Masons?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
officers.
Yep.
How was that like meeting them on the level? When usually you're kissing their ass, now you gotta.
But the worst one of my
life. Hey, Brad.
He was a chief warrant officer.
Oh.
My old master, and so, then you see him out in uniform.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we would show up in uniform.
Yeah.
And then when you walk inside, and then it's like, nope, no, none of that here. We're meeting on the level.
Yep.
And then you go outside and you're saluting and shit. And
yeah.
It's just it puts funny things like the life in perspective a little bit. So it's cool because it gives you a place where you could actually meet these people who you would be intimidated with. Like rolling up on a command sergeant major, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. You didn't play with sergeant majors. At least for us, it was gunny and above. You didn't fuck with a gunny.
Right.
Gunny will tear your ass to shreds.
But then in lodge, now you're on the level, and you don't. That's so it was a humbling experience because you're like, all right, cool, like. We are men. We all just put our fucking pants on every day. You just happen to be in the game a little bit longer than me.
Yep. The collar pins come off, and it's just so. Next question. I see it on Amazon all the time, and it's just a thing. Like we talk about morale patches. I got morale patches all over the place. Actually, I just started high court in I'm a judicial marshal in Connecticut here, so I just got my locker. So I got a Amazon sticker coming of Michelangelo, and it says "Cowabunga." It is. I'm putting that shit right on my locker.
Nice.
So
I have that exact same one in my bag.
so there is a morale patch out there of American flag, and a half of it's like split in half. It's an American flag, and then the other half of it is the square and compasses. Is that something you were like allowed to wear or anything like that? I mean, I know you got your unit patches, but I'm saying, like, is that something that, like,
No,
that's not a real thing?
no,
basically.
not really.
Okay.
No. That's mostly it's a civilian morale patch. Something
Civilian
that we
morale
brought,
patch.
you
Okay.
know, and
I know. I don't know, but I'm pretty confident that the canine units or the military police dog ones, they have that one. One of them is a paw with a half an American flag.
probably I don't.
Yeah, so I didn't know if that was actually a thing, like you were allowed to wear
No,
on
no,
your...
nothing like that
okay.
at all.
Fuck you, Amazon, for deceiving me.
I honestly, I think the only thing that I did per like uniform that I changed Masonic related was I put on my dog tags. I changed my dog tags to Freemason.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. And believe in...
Makes sense.
Again, we'll say here again, Freemasonry is not a religion. It's not. But that's pretty cool that you were able to put it on your
Yeah,
dog
I
tags.
switched that because I was like, well, can I? And they let me do it, and I was like, well, that's why I fucking did it. That's exactly how that
Makes
worked.
sense though.
Mine actually said no preference. I was Methodist, but I'm like, nah.
Yeah. So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, that was
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
So, you still keep in touch with the brothers that you were...
I did until I deleted all social media. I don't have any.
Oh, here. Me too.
Nice.
With the, of course, no, I'm fucking live here, but
Yeah.
but I don't have any social media. My name's not anywhere
So-
for multiple fucking reasons.
Yeah, I deleted all social media, so I'm not on anything anymore. But I mean, I wish I could. I wish I still, talk to those
So-
guys. I miss everybody, but yeah, I haven't talked to anyone.
Informational wise, I was kicked off social media because I belonged to something that Facebook deemed was nefarious. So I got thrown off of social media. I ran for Burgess in Naugatuck, politician, basically town councilman. And so I brought social media back in, put my name up there again. And when certain people found out that I was at a certain place at a certain time that's still certainly talked about, all fucking hell broke loose. And I got called every name in the book. I mean, I couldn't write anything without being called names and everything. And I said, you know what? Fuck this. And I got rid of social media, and I never looked back since, and I love it. I mean, the only thing I'll keep is TikTok. I got TikTok. I do have TikTok, and that's only because I like watching funny videos. But as for putting my opinions or I'm good. I'm good.
Don't mess with any of it, man.
Yeah, better off. I have to. Just for
You
my
have to
job.
for your
have to
job
work,
because you post all of your freaking hexagons and shit on there, but but no, I'm all set. I'm good. I got nothing. I don't want to. I want to be a ghost. I want to be a gray man,
Yeah. Better off.
and I plan on staying that way.
I would too if I didn't need it.
Everything is through the podcast, and that's all it's about. You want to get a hold of me? You know how to do it. Patreon. It's the only way I talk to people.
Nice.
Discord. We have our own Discord channel. You want to talk about a bunch of degenerate fucks, that's where you want to go.
Yeah, I don't even mess with any of that, dude. I'd stay completely ghost.
Yep. Nope. I like Ghost, and that's. I mean, once my my pension cures and I'm good, and I got my full ride of medical and dental through my job and everything. Poof, I'm gonna be like I keep saying, I'm gonna be Ted Kaczynski. I'm gonna live in fucking Lincoln, Montana, in a goddamn shack with nobody around. I'm gonna grow my beard out if I can grow a beard out, because I'm apparently a little ass kid and can't grow a beard. This one, you're already freaking halfly Grizzly Adams.
All leprechauns grow
nah.
beards.
I see what you did there. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going full off the grid. I want nothing to do with nothing. All right. So, Anything else you want to add to your
No,
Sonic
no.
career? We'll go over. So you joined Harmony.
Yes.
What are you doing here in Harmony? Anything yet?
I'm
Or
senior deacon now in Harmony, working my way through the chairs, and yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm doing the thing, just kind of going through the motions and serving when I can and doing what I can.
yeah, I went. I kind of bowed out of most of what I was doing at Morning Star for a plethora of reasons. But before that, I was working for Department of Homeland, doing that stuff, my job schedule. So I've been kind of off the grid. I joined Harmony when?
Like a month and a half ago, probably.
Yeah, something like that. No, longer
You
than
got
that.
voted in.
I got voted in. I just haven't been active because my shift that I work is fucking banana sandwich, and I'd never make it here. But now that I'm at high court, I'm gonna start coming around. But of course, it's July, so what happens in July?
We go dim.
We go dim.
Hit
But
it in the fall.
once we come back, I'll be more active.
Nice,
I'll be
sweet.
around raising hell and mischief and mayhem.
It's gonna be a good time. We got a couple good years.
It was a nice lodge, a lot of camaraderie, and everybody's always When I started doing this podcast and everything, I was really trying to get Morningstar members to come up and do it with me. I wanted it to be a Morningstar only thing, and then they just didn't show up. Nobody showed up. They stopped showing up. It was me basically on a mic just spewing venom the entire time. Not at them, just in general, because I'm generally pissed off 90% of the time. But man, let me tell you, dude, every fucking time we've recorded here at Harmony, me, Ken, and Joe, somebody's walking through the door. Bombardier or Sharky or Matt, you're up here today, and it's freaking nice to actually a lodge is coming up here and kind of like, hey, I want to pop in, I want to see what's going on here. You know what I mean? It's just nice. You're just you.
Always around.
I'm gonna get to you momentarily because I know you want to get into your little thing,
That's cool.
and I think it's gonna be funny as hell. But yeah, man, I'm pleasure to meet you, dude.
Pleasure to meet you, man. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. It's cool.
I mean, if
Good time.
even
I
if
love
Ken
the
would have
podcast.
come,
The podcast is great.
even if Ken would have come, I probably would have had him stuffed aside. He'd been sleeping over there. In the
Yeah.
Can't hold his booze. I mean, this is like
Oh,
what?
he
the
held
second?
it.
Oh, he held it. Yeah,
He held it.
too long. I think.
Right, that's the problem. What are you gonna do?
I love breaking Ken's balls because
win 'em all.
you realize it's the last two times. Last two
Has it
times.
been?
Yeah, it's the last two times. Last
Same
time,
reason?
same fucking reason. That's why Bombardier is sitting right
What
there.
was last time? The Ben Franklin?
No, the Killdozer. We did the Killdozer episode.
But what was he doing the night before that?
Yeah, I think it was your
Ben Franklin
Ben
thing?
Franklin or whatever, the George Washington, whatever the hell it was.
Ben Franklin.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, he.
Beat and rally.
You'd think him being like 7'8" tall, and he'd be able to like hang a little bit longer. He doesn't. Poor Kenny. Poor Ken. What did you call him before when we were on the phone talking about Ken?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, you called him something. It was like Ken something or whatever. I can't remember what the hell you called him. Kenjamin. There you go.
Yeah, Kendriman.
All right. So, anyway. All right, Alex. You got the floor. I know you wanted to talk about something.
It's just crazy how like every day. It's
For any listening, this is where we go off the rails and it turns into a bar conversation.
Yeah. This is
bar
This
conversation.
is where it gets out there. But every day, should be joining Royal Arch in October. Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Isaac Lee. So yeah,
Very
he's joined
good.
the Royal Arch.
But like, I have a lot of friends outside of Masonry, and I don't really like. I mean, if they have like certain questions that I can answer, I'll give them like the rundown.
I love how you're trying to keep your temperament right now.
I am. It's bad, bro.
He's twisted his ring like
Yeah,
He's twisted, but he's trying not to.
I'm trying to be good about it, or at least
He's
start.
trying to
good.
keep it Masonic right now. He's like, yeah, so I got a lot of friends, and
And they'll send me stuff. They'll be like.
You hear the quiver in his voice because he's getting pissed off.
It's something like somebody will send me something about the firmament or something, and they're like, oh, like this guy Admiral Byrd was a Mason and he went to Antarctica and we all just live in a firmament. The Earth is flat and it's just an ice wall around us. And I'm like, oh my god, like. But then you'll get stuff like Hollow Earth theory, and they're like, oh, the Masons made the Hollow Earth, and it's like, what, dude? And people just send me crazy stuff, and just the idea of flat Earth is absolutely ridiculous. It's like prehistoric bullshit. What are you doing? Like put any substance in a vacuum, and it's going to form a ball. Every other thing is a ball.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bubble, anything. You go
All
into
right.
space and you like squeeze out some water or spill some coffee, it's just going to
Form ball.
Congeal.
All right. I never even thought of that.
yeah.
Interesting. So
'Cause
you're
it's
telling me
just-
there's no flat Earth? There's no hollow Earth?
No, I don't think so. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a scientist. I'm an artist. But like, if I had to go on my best judgment, based off of just what I've seen, like simple mathematical rules, like the Earth isn't flat.
All right, so we'll go through. We'll pull this apart. I'm doing this for two reasons. One, we're going to talk about it, and two, I like watching Alex fucking cringe. So when Joe Zanino comes up, you know Joe Zanino.
Yeah.
I love blowing up his shit. I love saying things in order to get him to pop his top because he's Mr. Zen. He's very
Yeah, right.
And
I
I
tend to
poke
be
the
like
bear
that
all the
too
time just to
sometimes.
try to get him to blow his stack. Usually it's chili cook-offs or but I love watching people lose their shit. It's just my thing. I love watching people lose their fucking mind. So I'm going to try here with Alex. So you're telling me that we're not looking up at a hologram?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I kind of do believe like that it's not like really a Euclidean or like spatial like object. It's like changing, but like it's definitely more round than it is flat. Like,
Okay. All right.
you know, like I mean, sure, you could say everything is like dimensional based in like whatever kind of like layered explanation you want to give, but I don't know, people just, it's like, I think because I meet a lot of people through my job and I like post somewhat actively about masonry,
Yeah.
that when somebody sees like a video of, you know, like whatever, like Bohemian Grove or the moon landing being faked and Buzz Aldrin was a third
Isaac
star.
Leese.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You just wrote.
Yeah,
Did you know
he
we faked
faked
the
the moon landing as well? Yeah, stuff like that.
There's so much shit about
or
faking
like
the
the
moon
Knight
landing.
Templar thing in Oreo cookies. It's like, I'm sure you've seen
Yeah,
that.
I
real,
seen
man.
that.
Come on.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's
Take it over one snack at a
You
time.
know, I will say this though. Humans have an interesting mind. They try to find symbology in everything. They try to find, I mean, it's a pursuit of looking for something more than yourself, right? So you're always going to try to look for something like people who are like, oh my God, it's a miracle. Oh my God. You know, I can't believe this happened. This was a sign. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
People are always looking for something more than themselves. So I can understand why, you know, but do I think that people
it's almost like
have a pessimistic mind, right?
Yeah,
Most people have a
yeah.
pessimistic mind. They don't look at
Absolutely.
positives. They're looking for things that could be nefarious.
Right,
And that's
right.
kind of like your defense mechanism as a human being. Like, listen,
it's-
Joe Rogan said it best. We are fucking apes. We are territorial apes that, you know, we're always on the defense of ourselves, you know?
and it like becomes uninteresting when people
More so
like,
in today's
ask
world.
what it is. They're like, oh, what is it? And you're like, oh, it's like charity, fraternity, fellowship, hanging out, and they like can't comprehend, like they don't want to believe that that's what it is. So when somebody like adds a square and compass to like some conspiracy video for like clickbait, then they're like, oh, it's got to be that.
And here's the problem, though, is that these same people are not them, okay?
Right.
But the people who click onto their videos and watch their videos, they're looking for something more to life. They're trying to understand life, right?
Right.
But they get led down this fucking rabbit hole. So I'll tell you a funny story. I won't use names. I was in a courthouse, okay? And this inmate was, I mean, he was clearly mental health. But again, he must have drank the freaking Kool-Aid, and this dude was convinced. Now, he had no idea about anything, but he's talking about Masons. They're controlling the world. They're doing this. They put him in jail, blah, 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 blah. Well, ironically, I was on... yeah, you looked right at it. Ironically, I was on transport. Now, I need to use my hands to cuff him to get him in the truck. And what did he spot? Right at my forearm. This dude blew his lid because now he's seen my square and compasses, and this instantly justified what he was saying literally all day. And this dude wigged the fuck out. I mean, lost his shit. Because in his mind, he's been watching all these videos about Masons controlling the world. Now you spot my tattoo, and I'm the marshal who's putting you in handcuffs. I mean, it validated everything he thought. And he went fucking ballistic. Like, lost his shit. Like, had to restrain him, the whole thing. Eventually, we ended up leaving him, and another van came to get him. But, I mean, lost his fucking mind about this stuff. And again, it goes to the whole, you know, looking for a meaning of life, but seeing everything is nefarious and everything is bad. And
you're going to draw that to you, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could say, like, his mind, like, manifested you being the one to put him in cuffs just because he believes that's how the world works so much. That it just, like, it's the irony of it, right?
And the other problem is you're never going to convince somebody who's already set in their ways. You're never going to, I mean, we're not going to get down this rabbit hole, but, I mean, the debate.
Yeah, right.
The political debate. You know, an 84-year-old man, and I feel bad. I want to say this. I want to feel bad.
Yeah.
He's, if you watch a debate from when he was in 20, it was actually a pretty cool. They did a split screen of President Biden in 2014 when he did a Democratic primary debate, and now you see him this year, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's
totally
clear in
different
President
person.
but there are people that are saying no, he's not. He's fine. You're never going to convince them, like, what you do. They're just set in their ways. And the same thing goes for this. You can sit there and tell them, no, it's not. And they're just going to be set in it. And this is kind of where I feel like the flat earthers are, you know, rounding it out. You're never going to convince them.
Even when people...
I listened to a podcast where this dude, they were literally asking him, they weren't even mocking him, but they're, you know, they're the hosts where they're shooting their shots. You know what I mean? Like, well, what about the sky? Well, that's an ice wall. Well, how'd the ice get up there? Oh, well, it was a projection. That's why I said the whole projecting thing.
Okay, yeah.
Well, what's the sun? That's just a giant spotlight. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
yeah, like when you have to overcomplicate the theory to the point of like every detail.
Occam's razor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just crazy.
Hollow Earth.
I'd say it's. I mean, I believe it could be a hollow Earth theory over flat Earth too.
Did you see some asshole out there with a shovel up in the Arctic Circle? I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man.
It's crazy. It's like as soon as people find out like one person is like a Mason, like, okay, just because Admiral Byrd went to Antarctica.
And he also was talking about how he's seen a hole. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to. I mean, you're playing a game of percentages here. What's the percent that this could be true?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the percent that this could actually be true? I mean, there's a 1% chance. All right, so you can't completely rule it out.
Right.
But on the same time, is like we have fucking technology with cameras and Hubble telescopes that can see millions of light years out into the freaking space.
I could see the moon is round with my telescope, a $99
we have
telescope.
satellites. Like, I can drive, I mean, until I run out of land, but I can drive all the way around the world. You can fly. I mean, Amelia Earhart, I mean, granted, she went, you know, but, I mean, we have flights that travel all the way around the world. If the world was flat, eventually you're going to look down and go, what the fuck? Like, it's gone. Like, this isn't the Langoliers.
Yeah.
That was a Stephen King reference. Anybody seen the movie Langoliers? Where they like went back in time to this portal, but like the Earth started like disappearing like underneath them because they were going
that
bad.
sounds cool.
So yeah, it was an old ass movie. It was fucking terrible.
Wow.
Balky from fucking an '80s show was on. It was terrible. But anyway, I digress. You know, you're never going to run out of land underneath your feet if you fly on a fucking plane that goes around the Earth. Like, just get on a fucking airplane.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Let's see here. It's also as well the people that can't or won't become Masons, their mind will run wild. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't even realize like the Knights of Columbus have so much contention with Masons.
Knights of Columbus was created to divert people from joining Freemasonry.
Right, like
that was actually the
tattooed
whole
a kid
purpose.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, there's like a whole ritual that you pretty much like." like an exorcism ritual to like cleanse you of being a Mason to be in the Knights of Columbus or something.
And you know the funny thing is,
I was like, so you're just letting somebody tell you your last obligation is void.
yeah,
This obligation now.
yeah.
It's like, what's the difference?
See, and here's the kicker of it all, right? Knights of Columbus has 3 degrees.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Their uniforms look very similar to
Nice
A
Templar.
suit?
Knights Templar.
Oh, okay.
Like cape, hat.
And they even do the whole black ball.
Yep, they do the whole black ball Bible.
yeah.
And here's the best part of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a few people who are Knights of Columbus are Freemasons.
Really?
Yes.
How can you be both though if they make you like revoke one obligation for the other?
Well, how could you be a Mason? How could you tell about the Mason secrets? They'll cut your head off and pull your heart out. Nobody fucking does that.
Yeah,
There's going to
nobody
be
cares
nothing.
that
They're going to
much.
find out you're a Mason. They're going to go, oh, well, our membership is kind of low, so we'll keep them.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
right,
Just pay
right.
our dues.
Right.
Pay your dues. As long as you pay.
That's it, dude.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
Nobody cares. Like, and again, these things, these organizations that we belong to, they teach life lessons. You can pull stock from anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's the whole message, right?
it's pretty much what it is. I don't know. There's so many organizations that have so many. The Elks, the Eagles, like all these things they're modeled off of Freemasons. Like, I actually walked up to a dude in the parade and I shook his hand. I'm like, oh, what lodge you belong to? He's like, I'm an Elk. Because he was wearing the same fucking regalia and necklaces as a Freemason.
Right.
Same exact shit. I just didn't notice the symbols on the necklace, but it's the same. The collars of the Elks look exactly like the Scottish Rite collars that like Emeritus
Like the MSA.
MSAs wear.
Yeah.
Same fucking thing. Why? That tells you one of two things. One, either they modeled off of Freemasons, or Freemasons were intricate in the development of what they were.
Right.
It's all intertwined.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't,
Yeah, Freemasonry is the trunk of the fraternal trade.
because we're the oldest organization.
Right.
Everybody kind of seen Oddfellows. You fucking go down the list. It's Oddfellows. We're 90% Masons. Same damn thing, different ritual.
Yep.
I mean, Christ, what's his nuts? The Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt. He was a Freemason. When he created, he was I want to be clear, he was not a Master Mason. He was only made it to Fellowcraft. But when he started the Illuminati, this was during the whole where the secret societies were like the thing,
1880s.
Age of the Golden Dawn or whatever the fuck
yeah.
it was. 1880s and everything. This was like the hopping thing to do. It's like the social media of back then.
Right.
So he left Freemasonry and started the Illuminati, and basically modeled it off of the same shit.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the guy who wrote his rituals was a fucking Mason. They just tried doing something different. You know what I mean? I mean, he ended up fucking getting arrested, and he was trying to overthrow governments and shit. But it's pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else you got on Flat Earther? Come on. Or anything else. Come on. I'm trying to get you to pop here, and you're just not doing it.
I'm trying to think of a good one. It's mostly, like... Or the other one is like the Terrence Howard stuff. Did you see the Terrence Howard
No.
Joe Rogan stuff? Have you seen that?
I watched it. I wanted to go back and like dissect it a little bit more because
It
there
was-
was a lot of information that he spit out. But yeah,
It was,
No,
it was
I
pretty good.
it was good.
all
like,
about like sacred geometry and stuff, but even some of his stuff was like people were just chewing him up in the comments. And I was
I
like,
believe it.
boy, here we go.
Is he a Freemason or?
No, I don't
No,
think
he's
so.
just
But I mean, like Randall Carlson's a Freemason, and he talks a lot about similar things, like sacred geometry, the flower of life, like Fibonacci, all the ratios and stuff.
Yeah. You're more Mr. Esoteric. I'm not. I'm kind of more just. My brain isn't wired like you. You feel like you're the same way. You're just sitting there, just going like this.
I know some of it. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
You know what I got to do is
I'm not gonna say something to sound stupid. That's where I'm at.
pretty much, and that's I'm just trying to egg Alex on to get him pissed off. But what I need to do is I need to get somebody up here who's got the same. I don't want to say warped because there's a lot of people in who are into the esoteric part of Freemasonry. But I got to get you up here with somebody else who's very esoteric and let you guys just nerd out because.
Well, I met do you know PD Newman?
PD?
PD.
Oh, PD Newman.
Yeah.
I read a book.
I think that's his
Right?
name.
He wrote a book.
Yeah, the Alchemically Stoned.
Yes, Alchemically Stoned, the psychedelics and Freemasonry. Yeah, we did a whole thing on that.
Angels in Vermilion. I met him because he released his book, Angels in Vermilion. So Connecticut Masonic Education got him to come to a lodge in New Milford, I think.
Okay.
Old stone church, like super cool lodge.
Yes.
Crazy stained glass windows. And
Yes,
stuff.
yes, I know that's right on the main drag there in Milford. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he came there and brought his book and gave his whole lecture on like how like DMT is in Acacia and like how like some of the things correlate and stuff. And when I after the lecture was done and I got to talking to him a little, we were like going back and forth with that. I'll send him stuff still occasionally.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. That's there's a lot of correlation, even like the mushroom and everything like that.
Yeah,
though.
like the mushroom and the cross and all that.
It's pretty wild, all the correlation and everything. I will probably never do DMT. I am afraid of my own fucking demons. So like I don't want my
It's crazy
alter
stuff.
ego to come out and fucking eat me, and then I turn all freaking weird and shit.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta dance with those fuckers.
Yeah, I keep them locked away in the closet. My demons are pretty deep. No, I'm good. You stay in there. But anyway, Matt, glad to have you up here, man.
Thank you very much.
Actually, while we're talking about the military thing, there's a dude who's literally, if you ever listen, I don't know if you're in the military, you ever heard of Sean Ryan's show?
Oh yeah, great.
Love that show. That dude is good, dude. He just had a guy on, and I'm gonna find it because I don't want to fuck his name up. Oh, what the hell was it? Give me a second because I'm gonna try to find him. It was a dude right here. Yep, Nick Irving. He was known as the Reaper, the Sniper.
I know the name. Yep. I've
He's a
heard about
Freemason.
it. Really?
They talked about it in his last episode.
Oh, shit.
So I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of this dude and have him up here.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Because I mean, I don't know if you were. I don't know if you actually did combat. Did you combat pop rounds?
Yep.
You know,
there.
poppy grapes. You know, I'd love to have that conversation about, you know, because that's a tough. That's for anybody. That's a tough thing to navigate as a person. Number one, because they say when you take a life, it changes you forever. Mm-hmm. But you know, how do you? What's the word I'm looking for? How do you not marry the two, but how do you differentiate? You know, between that and being a Mason in your morals and standards, even religious. You know what I mean? Like that's you've kind of followed what we're getting at here. Like.
Yeah.
How do you separate the two? You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine a serial killer being a freaking Freemason and being like, "Oh yeah, I love life." Nope, you're kind of a fucking serial killer. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So, and this dude, I mean, anybody in the military, but more so a sniper. Like that's.
But then again, it's your job. That's what you're trying to do. That's what you're.
No,
like, you're following orders at that point. I mean,
you're absolutely right. You know.
So you gotta, as long as you can sleep at night.
I mean, you make a valid point.
I mean,
you make a valid point.
That wasn't my job. I don't know. I can't put myself in those shoes. But I mean, that's where my head would go.
Yeah, right. Just wondering if Freemasonry would help you with that. You know what I mean? It's particularly, I'm kind of the reflection chamber of reflection.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we had one at Morningstar where we made you sit in front of a mirror and come to terms with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That might be difficult for, say, somebody whose sole job was to, you know.
I mean,
but
like
it could
you're
be
doing
cathartic in a way for them because, again, you're putting it in the point of view where if they had to break it down in their head, like it's their job. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like it's not the mind of a serial killer. It's the mind of,
and it's in the name of like guarding your country, right? As well, which is like also part of your obligation to an extent.
Yeah. No, and the reason why I asked this question is because we talk about the Civil War and how brothers would cross battlefields to, you know, you meet with other brothers from the other side of it. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, I always found it fascinating. Like, you were able to, like, 1 minute you're shooting this guy in the face, and then 2 minutes later you're shaking his hand saying, hey, come on, let's go do lodge. What the
Yeah.
fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it's...
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean? Like, it's just wild to me to, like, you know, be all fire
So,
and
like-
brimstone with somebody 1 minute, and next minute you're shaking their hand. Like, and you're having lodge meetings, and you're taking care of them if they're wounded, and they're...
now.
So do you think if, like, because obviously they didn't have, like, sweet rifle scopes back then, right?
Right.
So do you think if the Civil War happened today where, like, you could see people from the other side and you're looking down the scope and you see a square and compass on the dude's
Right.
shirt that's shooting you from across the way, would that change whether or not you would still pop them?
See, I don't know. I would probably go for the guy with the fife, though, because I just want to hear the pitch change when he's like, skeedly.
Right.
That's
like
fucked up. I'm sorry.
it wouldn't be he wouldn't be your first target that you acquire, right? You know?
It's
I don't know, though.
Yeah.
It depends. If this
Yeah.
dude's got...
But see, but also depends too because it's like, is he wearing it?
Oh, right.
distract you.
Is he even
Yeah.
is it even like
You know,
legit or not?
Right. Yeah, and it could
True.
it could be like a clandestine guy.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
mean,
It
it's
could be
just-
somebody that just throws it on and say, "Oh, they're not shooting at these guys."
I mean,
Right,
if it
it's
was
you
in
versus them.
if it was in modern times, if the dude's rearing back ready to whip a grenade,
Right.
Because I can't tell his I can't confirm him
Right.
to be
Yeah, with a token, a word, or a grip.
from
or
you know
anything.
300
oh, you're
meters
gonna
out.
get a token, all right.
You have been reinvested of all metals.
Here's my 762 token coming your way.
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly.
So,
Hey, listen, Masons want to meet God. I'm just gonna help. I'm just gonna arrange a meeting. That's all.
you sure you don't have anything metallic on you? You do now.
Yeah. Matt Goldswizzle. It'd be nice if you can get Sean on as well. Yeah, that dude. He had a great podcast. He's a fantastic podcast, and he blew up. Like, he's blown up. He's at Tucker Carlson and everything. He ain't got to worry about our little pissant freaking podcast. I mean, it'd be nice, but I never expected Art Del Cueto either. But one day I'm getting a Facebook message. He's a Border Patrol agent.
Okay.
He's actually, there's a picture of him that's, I've told this story before, but I'll tell it to you too. He was with Donald Trump. He was the vice president of Border Patrol agents, and he was on a press conference with President Trump at the time wearing his square and compasses, and people were just lambasting him in the comments, and I went on the full fucking offensive, and on the podcast, was like, you know, these fucking guys just wearing a square and compass. He's proud to be a Freemason. You know, he's a patriot. He's a Border Patrol agent. He ain't, you know, I don't remember what the fucking meme was. It was something about the Border Patrol isn't trying to keep people out, they're trying to keep us in or whatever. And I just went full nuclear in this. And sure as shit, I got a Facebook message one day. It's him. He's like, hey man, thank you for defending me. Now I'm looking at him like, bullshit. Like, I'm thinking it's some troll because, you know, there was Jim Rafferty doing the whole freaking Orson O'Bear. I thought there was somebody fucking with me. So he's like, nah, man, it's really me. And then he sent me a picture. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, it's actually him. Like, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
That was fucking wild. Like, I was not expecting, because again, when we first started this years ago, we were just bullshit. I mean, granted, we got nobody really watching now, but then again, it's a nice day. But when we put it on Apple,
Right.
but yeah, it was fucking wild that somebody reached out to me. Scott Walter. We've had conversation with Scott Walter. I never would have thought that would have freaking happened. Pat Miletich, UFC. There you go.
Yeah, Joe Zinnia told me about Pat. I was like, I didn't even.
He called Joe a pussy. Just want to throw that out there. He did. I just need to throw that out there again.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I'd love to have that dude on, the Reaper. Like, what a fucking nickname though, right?
Oh yeah.
Reaper.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that. I mean, that's a badass nickname. I mean, you're the creeper, but I mean, anyway, what do you say, brothers? You think we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I think we did pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Not bad.
All right, brothers.
Sunday morning.
Thank you all for tuning in. I'll catch you on Apple as well for the Freemasons podcast. I'm Right Worship Brother George Mudry signing off.
Brother Alex DeFranzo signing off.
Brother Matt.